All right, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mike Lindsley with you from Rosie's Corner, of course. Pizza, wings, pasta, hot and cold subs, and more. Make sure you get on down here for themed food days as well, like your Fish Friday today with the mac and cheese, or you can put it with the fries and coleslaw. Also, Meatloaf Monday. They've got their awesome Turkey Slop Tuesday as well. Get on down here to Rosie's. They've just been unleashing things that are absolutely top-notch. The goulash recently is fantastic as well. Available on Grubhub. Like them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram, and you can see a lot of their specials, and you can see a lot of what's going on. And of course, tomorrow is a Syracuse basketball game day, and we are continuing with the theme from football season, where if you're in and around Central New York, any pizza wing combo, any one that you order, gets you a free 2-liter of orange soda. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, wings, themed food, and oh, by the way, get those desserts to go as well. They got a bunch of great drinks and salads in the cooler as well. Rosie's Corner is a proud sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. All right, I want to get into the death of David Stern. Tragically, of course, he had come down with a terrible sickness and died. I think it was at the age of 77. And, what starts to happen sometimes with guys is, somebody passes on, they start getting talked about more, revered more, honored more. And that is not the case with David Stern. When he was around, everybody knew what kind of an impact he had on the NBA, on the global NBA, and all the rest, and the innovation. And now that he's gone, maybe we talk just more about him. But I don't think there was ever a lack of talking about the greatness of David Stern. And I think when you talk about the lineage of commissioners in the National Football League, NBA, Major League Baseball, and every single pro league you can ever imagine, right? NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB. I got to tell you, I think David Stern's the greatest commissioner of all time. And I've been saying that for several years now, and there's a few reasons why. Number one, you have to look, in my opinion, at when a guy comes into the league, what he is taking over. How much of a mess is it, right? It's like when you hire a general manager at a major company. What is that person going into? What are they walking into? Are half the employees disgruntled? Is half the place way below budget? If you're a retail store, are you behind, if you're a retail and you're Best Buy, are you behind 8 or 9 other electronic stores, etc., and a lot of your competitors? To me, when you go into a place, what are you taking over and where are you trying to get that place? What's your vision? David Stern went into the NBA in 1984. Do you remember what 1984 was like? This was 4 years after Magic and Bird, of course, who basically from a player standpoint saved the NBA. But there was still a lot of bad stuff going on. Drugs, player games were rumored. The TV ratings were abominable. And even when they were on, it was late at night on a tape delay. Like you couldn't watch a Celtics-Lakers regular season game, until 11:30 midnight, the tape delay thing. From 1984, you have a look at where the NBA is now. It's a global enterprise. We start with that. The players coming from all sorts of countries. We've got guys coming from Canada, Steve Nash. You got the Ginobilis and company, and Tony Parker from France. And, the players are coming from all over the place. China, Yao Ming. They're playing basketball everywhere around the world. Number two is David Stern took the Michael Jordan post-Larry Bird, Magic Johnson entry into the NBA, and he was able to utilize him and a lot of endorsements that were signed with Nike, Akeem Olajuwon with LA Gear, Magic Johnson with Converse, etc. He was able to utilize that and make it a superstar league. Before, the NBA was actually a team league, much like the NFL is right now. Even in the 1960s when the Celtics were winning all those championships, you didn't talk about Bill Russell being the star. You had Russell, Cousy, Havlicek, and all the rest. Hell, Red Auerbach was as important as head coach, as big of a face as some of the players were. You talked about the Celtics greatness, the Celtics dynasty. The Celtics is now it's LeBron and the Lakers. It's Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets once he gets healthy. It's Steph and Clay and the Golden State Warriors. There's a different individual mentality and a superstar league for the NBA, and that is a David Stern thing as well. And I know that you have to have the players. I know that you have to have Larry Bird, and you have to have Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. You got to have a lot of those guys, but you've also got to market it properly. Hello, Major League Baseball currently is not marketing Mike Trout enough, in my opinion. He could walk into a produce department in any supermarket in California, and if you're not a baseball fan, you have no idea who he is. If you are a quasi-basketball fan, if you are not a sports fan, you know who LeBron James is because of his business entities, his properties, his entertainment value, and all the like. And, of course, the global brand that was built by David Stern 35 years ago. So those are a couple of the big things to me that are huge. Obviously, David Stern getting some major TV deals done as well. I also think not only from that marketing that I just talked about with the Stars, this guy right here is a guy who, really understood what a showcase is, from a marketing standpoint. Really understood when he came in what entertainment is and was. The mid-'80s, there were certain things that weren't that entertaining. And David Stern plugged in the TV deal. He plugged in the showmanship in the NBA and the global enterprise. But how can we make everything in our sport a showcase? Look at the NFL. The Combine is a showcase. The draft is a showcase. The Super Bowl is the biggest showcase of them all. Week to week to week is a showcase. The NFL Network is a showcase. OTAs are a showcase. The NBA is now like that. What league has a better offseason than the NBA? Remember the lead up with LeBron and where's he going? Is he going to be LA? Is he going to be Cleveland? Again, is he going to go somewhere else? It's going to be Houston. Free agency is a showcase. The NBA draft is now a showcase. I think when you look at all these sort of things in the league that David Stern entered to the league right now with Adam Silver, and of course a few years back when David Stern left the NBA, wow, you could not have taken over a better league, Adam Silver. You have David Stern to thank for sure. And I think he's the greatest commissioner of all time compared to a lot of the other guys. Gary Bettman in the NHL in the last couple of years has done some pretty good things to change the rules and all that. But the NHL was not a complete and utter dumpster fire by the sports standard when Gary Bettman took over. I think David Stern, sure, he had Magic and Bird, but if David Stern hadn't done a lot of the things that he did, and they didn't maximize on Michael Jordan, they didn't maximize on a lot of the global enterprising post-Michael Jordan, maybe the NBA isn't really what it is right now. You go to the other sports, Bud Selig, I thought, was a complete hack at his job. The fact that he has a plaque in Cooperstown is a freaking travesty. The guy who oversaw the PED era, and of course, who oversaw a strike. That guy is a total buffoon. He doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, and right now, I think Rob Manfred isn't doing that great of a job in Major League Baseball, considering that he's trying to cancel minor league baseball. So Major League Baseball has had a complete and utter clusterfuck for their commissioners, although Faye Vincent, Bart Giamatti and company, they were probably a little bit better. But again, when they came into the league, it was a heck of a lot stronger than the NBA was. And also, we have to talk about the financial impact that David Stern has when you take a look at what the NBA was making for the league, for all the teams, the revenue, TV, and all that. He grew it not only into the global enterprise and all the other stuff that I talked about, he grew it into a monstrous league from a payroll standpoint, team revenue, player contracts, minimum for players. Guys today, they're making ridiculous amounts of money, and that wasn't the case. The minimum back then, it was pennies. Now guys are coming in and making unbelievable amounts in terms of the minimum. And, the TV deals are ridiculous. Teams are worth $1.2 billion, a couple of $1 billion right now if you sell the top franchises in the league. And then the final thing is if you compare David Stern to the NFL guys, the one guy who really comes the closest to David Stern, I think you'd have to look at Pete Rozelle, the guy who was in charge really of implementing so many things for the NFL in the modern era, the TV deals and all that. But remember, even though the NFL at that time still wasn't as popular as college football, baseball, some of the other things going on in America, you have to also realize that they had a monumental 1958 championship game between the Colts and the Giants that actually propelled things into what became of the overall NFL and the AFL and NFL merged, the Joe Namath Super Bowl III and all that sort of thing. David Stern didn't have any of that. They were waiting to see if this Magic Bird thing would work. It worked. Stern took it to a whole new level, and now look at the NBA. David Stern, greatest commissioner in the history of professional sports. I'm Mike Lindsley. 9 minutes with me here, Rosie's Corner, Brewerton, New York, in front of the Brewerton Bridge. If you're in and around Central New York, get here. Pizza, pasta, cold, and hot subs, and of course your delicious wings. Themed food days like Fish Friday today. Get it with your mac and cheese or your coleslaw and your French fries. Jason, Jody, and the gang knocking it out of the park. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.